Who's the boy crying wolf, Cuomo?
What is he
Donald
crying?
Trump,
He's crying
the boy
wolf?
who said,
Oh, yeah. No more wars. If I'm president, I'll never go to war with Iran. It doesn't work going with military into the Middle East.
When political leaders make promises, those words tend to follow them for years. In this debate, Chris Cuomo brings up a statement that directly challenges the current narrative surrounding U.S. policy toward Iran. The moment immediately shifts the conversation from speculation to accountability. Suddenly, the focus is no longer just about strategy or intelligence reports. Instead, it becomes a question of consistency, how past promises align with present actions. And what happens next reveals a fascinating clash of perspectives between two very different interpretations of the same reality.
Mr. Bill O'Reilly. Bill, how do you see it?
You must be tired, Cuomo. You all right?
I know how to do the job, brother. How do you see things?
I don't see things definitively yet because I don't have all the information. So what do you expect President Trump to say? He's going to say he won the war, and why is anybody surprised about that? He gets every morning, as you know, an intel assessment. From what I understand, the intel assessment says that the Iranians' capacity to wage offensive war down about 80%. Okay, I believe it. And I say, if you want to say that's a victory, I'm not going to quibble with it.
So you don't think that the American president saying that we've won the war with things as they stand right now is anything than an amusing style flourish?
No, I mean, I don't think it's LBJ and General Westmoreland in Vietnam that were actually lying to the United States people about what was happening in that theater of war. I think that people believe what they want to believe, and the president wants to believe that he is on the edge of a huge victory. And he's got some stats to back it up. So why wouldn't he say it? It's good for him politically to say it. His supporters want to hear it. So he's saying it. And I don't have any beef with it.
At this point, the disagreement is still measured, but the foundation of the argument is already forming.
Right. The question is why you don't have any beef with it when we've never heard anybody say something like that in this situation that is so woefully incomplete. We're nowhere near the end of this. Surely you know that. Surely he does. We thought Bush was premature when he was on the aircraft carrier.
Listen, I don't have the data, as I said up front, to quibble with the president's assessment, number one. So unlike 90% of television pundits, I'm not going to speculate. Number two, there's a CIA report today, and I know this to be true, that says whatever's left of the Iranian government wants to chat. And I believe you're going to see that soon, that there's going to be a Geneva meeting of some kind, and they're going to work out wording where they'll make a deal, as President Trump would say. But the deal is going to be Venezuela. The deal is going to be Iran will do what it's told to do and stop the funding of terrorism and stop all the madness with the nukes and become a civilized nation. That's what America expects to happen. Maybe it won't, but I don't have data pointing in that direction.
Oh, sure you do. You have nothing but history pointing in that because these people are liars in Iran. They are toxic, pernicious zealots that have never kept their word on any level. And my concern goes to the people who are going to be left in the wake. This is not Venezuela. They kill their people by the tens of thousands, and they think it's a good thing. What do you think happens if the regime is still in place, signs a piece of paper promising to be what they never will be? We both know that right now. You don't have to be a fortune teller. And the people of Iran who thought help was coming are still there being victimized.
Listen, the people of Iran have gotten a lot of help at the people of America's expense.
Now the discussion begins to shift from military analysis to questions of trust and credibility.
So the people of Iran know that we're the only country on earth that would do this. There's not one other country that would come to try to break this murderous regime but the United States. That's number one. So help is on the way, and it's already been there. Now, what happens after that, no one knows, okay? But it's unfair to think that it's all going to be negative toward the Persian people and toward the United States. I don't believe that. Now, I could be wrong, but I believe that the Iranian terror machine has been severely downgraded, severely downgraded, and that is a good thing. Now, whether the Persian can get it together and overthrow the government like they did 39 years ago, and I wrote, you mentioned history. Look, my book, Confronting Evil, gets into how the Persians overthrew the Shah. And they could do the same thing now. But 30,000 dead, that's a lot of bodies, okay? And they're scared. And in 1945, even as Berlin went up in flames, German people didn't break out against Hitler because they were scared the SS would mow them down, which they would, and they did. So I understand the big picture here. I think it's trending toward Iran not having the capacity to cause trouble, at least in the short term. But you're absolutely right. If they get an opportunity to break the treaty, they will break it. And there's really not much we can do about that other than to hit them again and again and again. And I hope that doesn't happen.
What do you think this means right now back home? Every poll I see shows two completely irreconcilable things. One is the American people are overwhelmingly against this. They're also against the regime existing, but against this because we have PTS from being in the Middle East. But every base poll I see shows tremendous support from for the president from the same voters I thought would be the most offended by this.
But the debate soon moves from foreign policy to domestic consequences.
Well, the Rasmussen poll just out today contradicts your analysis, but each poll is different, and we have to take that into consideration. It's a 50-50 split, and I think that's where the country is. The country wants the United States to break Iran. Some Americans don't want to pay the price for that. I think that's an accurate assessment. They don't want to pay more for gas. They don't want to see any casualties. They don't want to pay attention to it. Okay. But I think most Americans understand that the campaign is noble, that Trump is doing the right thing, but the right thing isn't always the easiest thing. Most of the time it isn't. But from my experience, across the board, most loyal Americans want the United States to break Iran. You only see the fanatical progressive left rooting for Iran. No one else.
I don't see anybody rooting for Iran. I think it's about how this is being done and what it means back home. But look, all of these questions get answered the same way with the three worst words in the world, right? Which are, we will see.
Yeah, and that's a cop-out. The we will see stuff.
I know, but I mean, look, you're saying
cop-out. Look,
but you're saying I don't have the data. I don't know. I could be wrong. I mean, it's all the same universe of incredulity. I mean, at home, this is not helping the domestic situation right now. And I think promises that gas prices will be even better after this is a silly thing to say.
Well,
I do think he's going on the affordability tour for a real reason.
Wait, what did you think was going to happen? What did you think was going to happen? This is a military fight. Okay? There are going to be bad things that occur. And the press is, oh, no, oh.
I know.
I mean, come on. Is this Little Bo Peep land? All right? The trend.
No, it's not this Little Bo Peep. It's not the Little Bo Peep. It's Boy Who Cried Wolf. It's not Little Bo Peep.
Wait a minute. Who's the boy?
This is why
who's
Donald
the boy
Trump
crying wolf?
promised.
Who's the boy crying wolf, Cuomo? What is he
Donald
crying?
Trump,
He's crying
the boy
wolf?
who said, oh, yeah, no more wars. If I'm president, I'll never go to war with Iran. It doesn't work going with military into the Middle East. It's been a waste of blood and treasure. These are all paraphrased
You're
quotes
taking
from
it
the president.
completely out of
That's
context.
the fairy tale.
You're taking it completely out of context, and events change.
Really?
Yes, really. All the times that he said it was about infantry insertion into the Middle East, which he opposes, and that's not going to happen. All right? You got to read the contextual remarks. And even if it were true, and it isn't, but even if it were, events change. The world changes. And when the UN says that Iran is very close to breaking out a nuclear weapon, the UN says it. You got to pay attention to that, Cuomo.
Which also condemns these actions. The UN also condemns what America is doing in Iran right now.
Not the politicians in the UN do, not the nuclear people.
The UN is the UN.
What makes this exchange particularly interesting is not simply the disagreement itself, but the different frameworks both commentators are using to interpret the same events. Bill O'Reilly approaches the situation primarily from a strategic perspective. His argument centers on capability and deterrence. If Iran's military capacity has been significantly weakened, then in his view that outcome alone can be framed as a form of victory. Chris Cuomo, however, focuses on a different dimension entirely. Instead of measuring success purely through military capability, he highlights the importance of political messaging and public accountability. His reference to past statements by Donald Trump introduces a broader question. How should political promises be evaluated when circumstances change? This difference in perspective reflects a larger pattern often seen in political debates. One side evaluates policy through outcomes and strategic advantage. The other evaluates it through consistency and the relationship between rhetoric and reality. Neither perspective exists in isolation. Military outcomes influence political narratives, and political narratives shape how the public interprets those outcomes. When those two elements appear to contradict each other, debates like this one naturally emerge. Ultimately, exchanges like this are less about declaring a winner and more about revealing the underlying tensions within policy discussions. They highlight how complex geopolitical decisions can be interpreted through very different lenses depending on what questions someone believes matter most. And that is precisely why moments like this tend to resonate far beyond a single television debate. What do you think about this debate between Chris Cuomo and Bill O'Reilly? Did Cuomo raise a fair question about political promises, or do you think O'Reilly's strategic argument makes more sense in this situation? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoy deep analysis of major political debates, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next breakdown.